unchangeable, perfect creation. The truth of your divine existence has never changed. For all eternity, you have been divine existence. Perfect, completely the reflection of creation, creator. In that truth of perfection, nothing that is temporary is the reality of your divine perfection. Unchanging, eternal. To accept that magnificent truth is to relinquish the attachments that have been produced, to promote the belief of separation. Just the idea of being a name. There's nothing wrong or bad or good or important about a name until it's truly surrendered so that it can be God's. Then when you hear a name, you hear the echo of God. That's the turning over everything that's temporary to be used by Spirit. All the attempts within the world to try to capture the deeper mysteries are just a sliver, the tiniest drop of truth, of reality. It isn't that it is a tiny drop. It's magnificent in its perfection. Everything that you enter into that is the yes to deeper communion with God. Everything that you touch in that purpose is perfect. When you light a candle, the candle is temporary, and the flame is temporarily lit. And yet, when you light the candle and surrender its purpose, its strength, its holiness, you surrender it all into the hands of Spirit. And the candle truly transforms and opens to its true nature, serving love. If you're using candles to have nice mood lighting, more than likely the candle is going to remain part of the illusion. It's everything that you walk with in this world can be transformed into love as it is used for love. It is within you to make that choice, the constant choosing of love. When you're using a pen or a pencil, bless it. Bless it and let it be used for love. Let everything in every day be used for love. It transforms your mind as you surrender and allow everything to be used for love. For a moment or a longer period of time, you can feel that divine connection as you surrender the moment to be used for love. Every time that you stop and make that choice, you are truly being blessed by your choice. You're aligning with the truth of creation, giving the temporary illusion, giving the form of it back to spirit to be transformed. And in that, you're joining in that holy encounter of returning. Changeless, perfect creation. As you return everything to the creation of love, to be used by love, even in its temporariness, it becomes sacred, part of creation, filled with spirit and perfect. In this moment, using the consecration of the sanctuary prayer, surrendering this moment, surrendering everything that's here in this moment to be used for love, to be transformed into holiness, sacredness, no longer temporary, but the love being permanent. In the infinite circle of the divine presence, which completely envelops everyone, we affirm that there is only one presence here. It is harmony, which creates a vibration in all hearts of joy and happiness. Those who choose to enter here will feel the vibration of this divine harmony. There is only one presence here. It is love. God is love. Love is the unifying force of all beings. This sanctuary is filled with the presence of love. In love, you live, you move, and you exist. Those who choose to enter here will feel the pure and holy presence of love. There is only one presence here. It is truth. All that exists here, all that is spoken here is truth. Every thought is the expression of truth in this moment, accepting truth. Those who choose to enter here will feel the holy presence of truth. There is only one presence here. It is God, the life force. God is the essential life force of all beings, the grace of the true mind. Those who choose to enter here will feel the presence of life within the grace of love. The vibrations of love that come through holy thought are the forces of God within, which are stored here and radiated to all beings, thus creating a center of giving and receiving of all that is the pure love of God. I thank you for I live in your life force, in truth, in prosperity, in peace, in wisdom, happiness, and love. And so it is. One minute to midnight, and the sky is turning black. 1 minute to midnight, and there's no turning back. I'm going home, I'm going home, I'm going home for good. 1 minute to midnight, and my train is pulling in. 1 minute to midnight, when my new life will begin. Love calls me home, love calls me home, love calls me home for good. 1 minute to midnight, and the bells begin to chime. 1 minute to midnight, they tell me that it's time to turn toward the light, turn toward the light, turn toward the light of my home. 1 minute to midnight, as I bandage up my heart. 1 minute to midnight, as I let the healing start. I will receive, I will receive, I will receive my welcome home. Only for your love, dear Mother, we ask for healing. We ask for the charity of love to see the truth within us when we can't see it ourselves. We ask for healing here in this moment. We ask for everything to be healed that is necessary. Heal everything that has been made separately without love. Heal the heart, the mind, for all of humanity. Apenas por vosso amor, apenas por caridade, a vós te damos louvor, ó Virgem da Castidade. Apenas por vosso amor, atendo-nos o chamado. Ajuda-nos, ó cessar, a curar a necessitado. Heal what is necessary. The willingness to make that statement, heal what is necessary, is the demonstration of your trust. Heal what is necessary. I don't know what it is that needs healing in this moment, dear Mother, but heal what is necessary. This is a prayer that I prayed often. Heal what is necessary. How can I know what it is that needs healing? But you do, Divine Mother. The Divine Mother knows everything that is most helpful. And that's why surrendering, trusting, and then being willing to be healed, to have the made up identity unraveled. And all that's asked of you is to be willing, to be available, and to trust in the power of love so that you can return to that love. Relearning to trust in love is essential. What's called love in the world isn't love. It's bargains, it's agreements, it's identities that have been familiar for hundreds of lifetimes. But when you surrender to the spirit of love, which comes in the aspects of the Divine Mother and all divine beings, you're saying, yes, lead me home and unravel what is in the way. Being unraveled is a privilege, an honor. But it's your right. It belongs to you. The healing belongs to you because love is so all-encompassing that it has to offer it constantly. The healing of love is yours. So God always is laughing because the truth is you can't be actually not the truth of who you are. You can forget, but it doesn't change the truth of who you are forever. Once a young man came to me and said, "Dear Master, I'm feeling strong and brave today, and I would like to know the truth about all my attachments." And I replied, "Attachments? Attachments? Sweetheart, do you really want me to speak to you about all your attachments, when I can see so clearly you have built with so much care such a great brothel to house all your temporary pleasures? You have even surrounded the whole damn place with armed guards and vicious dogs to protect your desires, so that you can sneak away from time to time and try to squeeze light into your parched being from a source as fruitful as a dried date pit that even a bird is wise enough to spit out. Your attachments, my love, let's not speak of those. For love understands the suffering of your heart and understands the torments and the agonies that every mind on the way to annihilation in the sun must endure. So at night in my prayers, I often stop and ask 1,000 angels to join in and applaud anything in this world that can bring your heart comfort. the torments and the agonies that every mind on the way to annihilation in the Son must endure. It is such a fine study when healing is asked for, prayed for, and it's always a letting go. It's always something that has been held sometimes preciously, fearfully, intensely, and in the trust of love. It's very apparent to each beloved that they're being unraveled. The secret of unraveling is to find the place within that is grateful and joyous for the unraveling. That in a quiet place, you enter a sweet remembering that this is what you're here for, that this is what you came into incarnation, particularly this time, to find the truth, to remember reality, to come home to love, and to allow the costume of separation to finally fall away. No longer held on to, no longer believed to be the answer, allowing it to slip away. But there is so much compassion for the torments and the agonies that every mind on the way to annihilation in the Son must endure. There is complete compassion by love, because the pain of the struggle, the perceived struggle, is recognized by the divine that this need not be, that it really doesn't have to be a struggle. But the mind is so used to listening to the ideas of likes and dislikes, good and bad, that the ego just grabs onto anything that it can make an opinion out of, so that it feels at least a little familiar. But the more that in that unraveling, in that trust, that you go deeper and deeper into love's teachings that come through everything. And as you accept the teachings that are everywhere and in everything, your whole existence changes direction, changes purpose. It's to remember love and to shed all the opinions and all of the ideas that have been made in the belief that you can make something separate from God. I had a questioning today from somewhere. What happens when you think someone is upset with you? The idea that somebody might be upset, but that it's directed to you. And you wrestle with it. It follows you around, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, sometimes even longer, until you can put it away in a pocket somewhere and not look at it for a while. But just that agreement that it means something. The idea that if someone is upset with you, that it is disturbing enough to take your attention for a long time, to worry about it, to think about it, to look at every scenario, and then to go back and forth between being afraid that they are upset and then maybe becoming angry because who are they to be mad at you, and all these different combinations come into your mind, and it's all a battleground. And it truly, the idea that if someone is angry, upset, disturbed, it is not of God. It isn't reality. They have forgotten, and you have joined them in that forgetting the truth of love. If they were upset, it just means they've forgotten. But the ego really does want you to take it very personally, because that's where you suffer. That's where you doubt your divine worth. That's where you wrestle with the rules of the world, because the rules of the world, the made up rules of the world, say that if someone is upset, then something has to be done. And it means something about you. But in actuality, the only thing that it actually carries with it is that you believe it. It's the belief that you carry that it has meaning that will cause the suffering. And it isn't God's will ever, ever, ever for any suffering, because all suffering, all ideas of suffering comes from the belief that it has meaning, that it is justified, that it's real, and that you need to suffer in some way because somebody's opinion matches yours, that you think you've done something wrong. If that is possible for you, then it is only and will be possible for everyone. If you, if someone can be upset with you and it be your belief that it is true and valid, then you can also be upset with someone and believe that it's valid. It's all runs together. It's all made up. All opinions, all ideas of separation, of differences, of being upset, of being irritated in any way, it's made up. The consecration of the sanctuary is the reminder that everything of love is perfectly whole and complete, and blessed and joyous, happy, not happiness that comes from something, from getting something, but from being, that you don't have to, and you will not need any kind of reason for happiness, for joy. It's what you are. Love is joy. Love is harmony. Love is peace. you cannot be something else other than joy and harmony and peace and tranquility and gentleness and kindness, all the aspects of love, the expressions of love. It's what you are. And the idea that if someone is upset and you take it personally and you make it about right or wrong, good or bad, you've missed this opportunity to see that if a beloved is upset, you're there to bring healing. You're there to bring the light of love by bathing them in the light of love that you are willing to hold for them. If they are upset, whether it's at you or at somebody else or whatever, they are suffering. They are believing something that has no reality. And you, in the sanity of love, can hold that for them, that this means nothing and that they are changeless. They are the light of God and will never change in any way. If you have the prayer within you, I want to think what God would think. I want to let go of everything else that God would not think, because it's a waste of time. It means nothing. Only love is the truth of your life. Every day you have all day long, every moment, to keep returning to the truth that only peace is real, only love is real, only harmony is real. And the split of duality is the insanity of believing that you can parse things and make them good or bad depending on your opinion. And it means really nothing, because it's holding you in this idea that there can be a split. If you look at the weather, the sky, the day, and you look to see whether there are clouds or bright clouds with sun shining through them, what is it that you decide on? You decide that the gray clouds are ungood, not as good as it could be on a scale, that you're giving it a 30% okay because the clouds are gray. In that moment, there is love in everything, but you can't find the love if you are splitting it and parsing it to be good or bad or right or wrong. It's been taken and made into an even greater illusion by the split. You, in making that split, you believe that what you have decided on is actually real, that it actually has an effect of some kind. You may even think that if you like the way the day looks, it's good, and that that's a satisfaction, then that you've given it your seal of approval, but it's not the truth of love. It's not the acceptance that everything is perfect and that everything is only for the purpose of learning. When you've given it an opinion, you've taken away your learning. You've put it in a box of being what you want and how you want it. But your yearning is really to remember love. And it's holding you back. It's holding you in the illusion to keep giving it credence of good or bad, right or wrong, instead of taking it all in its perfection. Every moment has the depth of truth. It's if you can look through it and see perfection, you're there to learn. And in the learning, you're blessed because you're learning the deeper truth of love and surrendering the duality that is made up. What is it that you would consider to be good or bad about age? What is it that you consider to be good or bad about culture? What do you consider good or bad about weather? The list goes on and on and on and on, but none of it's true. What is it about age that has an opinion? The Holy Spirit would take you into age and show you the truth of its non-meaning, other than that each beloved is blessed in every moment and has a blessing that they are there to offer. When you take something like age or culture and you have a story about it, you've entered into a limitation that says now there has to be fear, because the belief that I gave to age is that it gets worse and then you die, and all the fear is there. But no beloved is their body, and age is basically the body structure. So when you see a beloved who's 20, or you see a beloved who's 90, find the spirit. The spirit is there, and it's changeless. It's perfect. And it has nothing to do with being the idea of 20 or 80, 90. The spirit is the life force of God. So every rule, every attachment within the world is being called to be surrendered, to be let loose from its prison, because it has been made into a prison that you believe that if you know the idea of attachments, that they are your safety. And of course, it never stops the fear, because the fear is actually fearful because of the belief of duality, the belief of being split into and having to control the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's none of those things. There's only love. Everything's perfect. Every beloved is perfect. Everything is perfect. This moment is perfect. Your breath is perfect. The peace within you is perfect. The light that you are is perfect. You cannot improve on perfection. but you can ignore it. And that's where all the pain is. Come home to the light of love. Come home. Choose to see yourself as unloving, and you will not find the joy of reality. When you look with your eyes, realize that the eyes belong to the ego and that you will be seeing through a self-made perception. And surrender it again and again and again that you want to see the truth. And embrace the beautiful teaching. I don't know what anything is for. I don't know how to look on this moment. I'm saying yes to the divine presence of love itself, but I don't know how to be in this world and not of it, and return to love. Show me the way. You decide on the goal you want. Choose love. Choose love, choose love, choose love. It's what you're here for. It's what your life is truly for. And you are so blessed to have that awareness and to make that choice, to choose your mind, to choose to change your mind about your mind. There's a space of healing where when you thought that you were in control of something, it gave you a false sense of dominance or knowing. And as you enter into surrendering, letting go, questioning, that false assuredness gets shredded. But it's a false assuredness. It was never sure of anything. It was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Don't worry about the shredding of that false assuredness. It was never your friend. It was a dangling kind of fear that was never true. But it stayed kind of in the background, but always with fear there, because you were never sure of the false sureness. In humility, the confidence of love is whole and complete, but it's not personal. It's the confidence in the truth of God, confidence that you are the light of love, and you can rest in that light, rest in that love that you are. And that's where the confidence is found. You are the light of God. And that's all that's true, unchanging, and perfect.